Welcome back to Studio F, where on Fast Times Willy B, we'll be reviewing the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell?
Welcome back to Fast Times with Willy B. I'm Willy B. I got Drew on. Drew, welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. So, got a new guest, first time appearance. You're a big history guy.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So we got you here for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, a movie you actually reached out to me about, said that it was really good before I had gotten the chance to see it, and I was like, do you want to review it? And
yeah.
You said yes, so here we are.
Yep. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for coming on. So we got another Guy Ritchie film. Guy Ritchie, he kind of, has solidified him. What type of movie you're getting. You're going to get that war, action, comedy. He's definitely going to play a presence in it. And we get another one here. We have a solid cast. Henry Cavill and Alan Richardson obviously headlining that cast. If you like brutes, good-looking men, you got your movie right here. Another worthy names, Henry Golding's in this one. Isa Gonzalez, she's also our female lead. Not really a lead, but she's our main female character in this one. We'll start with the good. And I think we can start with the acting and the casting. I think this movie was greatly casted, and I thought every performance was top-notch.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was great, especially like Henry Cavill's character, just like the bruteness or like the swagger that his character exerts when he's on screen. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know, Alan Richardson. Is he the guy from Reacher?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah, just the absolute sheer size of him, or like how delicate he was as a character when he wasn't fighting, and then just like a complete brute on screen.
Watch a 90-minute movie of him with a bow and arrow.
Oh, 100%.
After watching this, I was like, okay, he's my standout. He was awesome, and like you said, he has that delicate side to him when they're planning and they're just talking. But when it's action balls to the wall, he's all in.
Oh, he's ready to go.
He's not waiting. They're like making the plan, and he just keeps walking in with the bow and arrow.
I saw it. Yeah, the first time I saw him on screen, he had that tiny. I was like, "There's no way he's about to walk in here with a bow and arrow."
Yeah,
it was so great
and so strong that he shoots it right through the people.
Yeah, I think there's a scene where he shoots through two people at once. Yeah. The scene he's on the boat and they're watching him. They're watching him with the axe, like through the porthole window in the door. That scene was fantastic.
Waves with the axe through the window. Yeah, Richardson was awesome in this film. Overall, like I said, I liked the entire cast. I thought Isa Gonzalez was in her element. I thought she had a phenomenal performance. There was only one performance I wasn't a big fan of, and we'll obviously get to that later as we get into The Man Bad. But for the most part, this cast was amazing. I thought the casting was great, and our main group of guys, ungentlemanly guys were phenomenal.
Yeah, I completely agree. I like Cavill, and just like a little minor detail, I liked how in multiple scenes he was obsessed, especially with the wardrobe of the film.
Yes.
Everyone was dressed to the nines, I would say, but there were several scenes where you just had to have that coat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought that was a cool little callback. Yeah, super cool.
That was one of my favorite quotes from the movie. I've got to get me one of those coats. And he got himself one, and he sported it throughout the rest of the movie.
Oh yeah, he had awesome. The SS. He had the SS leather regalia on.
He took the cap too.
100%.
He had the whole getup. So cool. But we already mentioned a little bit. The action, the fight choreography, I think was also very well done. Anytime we were in a full-blown war scene, or whether it was boat versus boat combat or whatever, I thought the action was phenomenal in this movie.
Yeah, I agree. There's always a certain like pacing you're going to get with Guy Ritchie, especially. It's almost casual in a sense. I think one of the things I noticed is in a lot of the scenes, I don't think there's a single scene where any of the gentlemen are running. I think they just casually brisk through, just walking through, shooting people.
Yeah. And all the guys they're shooting are frantically running, which is the funny part.
Yeah,
and
just casual.
5 guys coming in, 4 guys before they get their 5th guy.
Oh, 100%.
Goes through a whole island of people. But no, I thought the action and the fight choreography was very well done. Also, again, shouting out Richardson, when he's, hand-on-hand combat with the knife, or when he's with the axe, again, just everything was done so well by this cast, and just a shout out to the choreographer as well, and making these epic fight scenes. We can go to pacing since you kind of mentioned it. I thought this movie was very well paced. I like how you said casual. It is very casual, but for 2 hour and 15-minute runtime, it didn't feel like that.
Not at all.
It was a fun ride. You're in it throughout most of the movie. There's a couple scenes that are a little slower when the action's not going, but for the most part, this movie's easy to follow along with, and it's smooth.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It was super enjoyable. I went with my girlfriend, who's not the biggest movie person, or she tends to fall asleep during movies, and she was able to stay awake. So
yeah, well, there you go. Shout out Buddha. Mural behind me was also Buddha, so gotta love that. But I thought it was well paced and it was easy to follow. Sometimes that's a thing war movies can fall in trouble with, is pacing, because it's very easy to get
too fast.
It's also easy to go down the slow route. I thought I wasn't the biggest fan of Napoleon. I thought pacing was its biggest issue. I still liked the movie. Yeah,
I agree. It was an enjoyable movie, but I agree it did feel like the last 30 minutes of the movie, I was at the edge of my seat. Like, we've got to almost be at the end.
Yeah. That's, I feel like a thing war movies can fall into is when the action's going on, it can be too fast. When the action's not going on, you can start to, I know you enjoy history, I enjoy history, but in this world, unfortunately,
not everybody
the attention
does,
span is not always there. And so sometimes pacing is an issue that kills war movies, but again, I thought the pacing was very well done here, and Guy Ritchie tends to have well-paced movies.
Yeah, The Gentleman's paced similarly, and I've really enjoyed everything that Guy Ritchie's been putting out for the most part. The Gentleman was really good, Snatch is really good. The Men from U.N.C.L.E., also Henry Cavill.
I still need to see The Covenant, which came out last year.
That was really good. I unfortunately didn't get to see it in theaters, but I got to watch it I think it's on Prime. And it was good.
I still have to check that one out.
I like Gyllenhaal a lot. So that was really good. And as far as like historical accuracy, I mean, there's only so much you can do when it comes to like on the screen. Yeah. But this story, it wasn't known until 2016 because it was in Churchill's like confidential notes, but it is a true story. The only thing that differs is the original plan wasn't to blow up the ship. The original plan was to always just like tug it out to sea. Okay. So the blowing up, the initial plan, that was like a film adaptation. Yeah. But other than that, like it wasn't sanctioned. Yeah. Because they thought that it would go against the Spanish government. So he got a bunch of people who didn't listen to rules and sent them out, and they actually threw a party and got all the Germans to go to the party, and they actually stole the boat. So
they did a really good job in marketing at keeping this under the radar as far as the true story goes. Because I don't think they mentioned it in the trailer at all.
Yeah, not
as soon as you sit down, it says based on a true story.
And then the little end, you get the little blip at the end there with the real pictures. But
so before you told me, I was like, oh, I did not know this was based on a true story. So that added a little bit of a layer of coolness, I guess, to it, in the sense that, and you did your research and finding out that it was pretty spot on, other than the original plan being made for Hollywood, which I liked. I liked the original plan. I loved how it all played out, and it made for a very fun third act. It's cool, when you can get a based on a true story done this well.
Yeah, and it's cool to see, especially some of those night scenes. Yeah. Especially with the explosions. I mean, it's always cool to see things blow up in movies.
Oh, for sure.
But some of those scenes, like shot from the boat, where you get like the reflection of the explosion in the water. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was amazing. I should go see it a second time.
I've thought about the visuals were very well done. Effects, cinematography, all of that. And I mean, you mentioned it with the explosions; those are all well done. But just some of the shots and the camera angles, and again, when they have these action scenes, we have fun shots in those scenes as well, and just really well done. Great directing from Guy Ritchie. He tends to have a lot of fun with his films, and I think that probably makes it easier to go to work every day.
Oh, 100%. And I was watching a thing, I think on Twitter, and Henry was saying he enjoys Henry Cavill. I don't know him like a friend. I don't know.
Henry.
But he was saying that working with Guy Ritchie is so fun, because in the morning they'll go and they'll break a scene down, and they'll break it down so much to where it's not at all like it was when they got there in the morning. Yeah. But by actually being there and having a conversation and like feeling it and being in the moment, it
Yeah.
completely reshapes the movie. So
That's awesome.
I think that translates to the camera. I feel like everybody got along really well. It feels like everybody related really well.
Oh, the chemistry between that's another thing that goes back to the acting and the casting. I feel like they got a cast that just meshed really well.
And I like that Guy tends to there again, first name basis.
Hey,
But
okay.
I like that he tends to reuse people in his movies, or it's fun seeing people from other projects that he's done pop up in other movies.
For sure, yeah. Another thing I'd throw in the good is the score. I thought the score was really well done. It was again like a fun, upbeat score, but it had that war feel to it, and it just added another element to all the action scenes. And when there was a slower scene, the score could help pick it up, and I thought the score was really well done as well.
Yeah, I agree. The like when they're making their way through the boat with some of the militiamen.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was like anxiety.
Yeah.
Felt good.
No, really well done score. Honestly, when it comes to the technical standpoint, this movie overall was well done.
Yeah, I agree. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a blast.
So do you have anything you'd like to add in the good before we move on? Is there anything else that stuck out to you that you'd like to mention?
I would say, I don't know. I mentioned the wardrobe. Did I mention the wardrobe already?
You touched on it, but yes, costume.
Yeah, I was going to say costume was really well done. I know in a lot of war films, a lot of times, like Germans and other groups aren't shown accurately, and from what I saw, everything looked fairly accurate and really well done.
Yeah, that's a big thing with war movies too. Again, we talked about how pacing can be hit or miss for war movies. If you have good costume, make it feel like you're diving into the period, make it feel like you're there during the World War. It helps.
Or it was cool to see some of the weapons.
Yeah.
The weapons accuracy, like the majority of them used it's the Sten gun, and then added like a suppressor on it. And that would have been like historically accurate, or using revolvers, or they had I believe Henry Cavill had the 1911. So it was cool to see historically accurate weapons used.
Yeah. Yeah, the prop team and costume team definitely did a great job with this film, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
So we'll hop over to the meh. These are things that you didn't hate, but you didn't love either. Kind of just fell in the meh for you. And for me, I would say when there was no action, some of the scenes were less fun. I don't want to knock a movie for that, because, some of these scenes were definitely needed to carry on the story. There was just a couple where I was like, okay, get on to it. Let me see Henry Cavill and Richardson chop some heads off. But I don't know. There was just a few scenes of downtime. And again, I'm not knocking the pacing, because I thought the pacing was really well done. It was just, I could have used less of these and more of the ungentlemanly guys. Yeah,
100%. I would say the main thing, and it happened right from the beginning, and I couldn't get my mind off of it, unfortunately, the whole film. I don't think that the guy who played Churchill, had a British accent. I don't think that was a British accent at all.
I'll touch on my Churchill in the bad, but yes, he did not.
Yeah, I probably should have saved that for the bad.
I did not. We'll save it. We'll come back to Churchill.
We'll save it.
The only other event I really have is sometimes, there was definitely tension in this film, but there were times where the tension lacked, in the sense that it felt too easy for these guys sometimes.
Yeah, like there were no ramifications. Like you didn't... Yeah, I agree. The entire time I was like, oh, all these guys are going to live.
Yeah.
Like there was no sense of peril that one of the characters might.
Yeah.
I mean, I think only one of them gets shot, the younger Irish gentleman, when he's on the... He's on the anti-aircraft gun on the boat, gets shot and clipped in the shoulder.
Other than that, it just feels like 5v300, and they're just taking them.
They're walking through on God mode.
Yeah. The plot armor. But no, it's like... Beekeeper was the same way in that sense. I loved The Beekeeper. I thought it was a very good movie. But he almost went the entire movie without being touched.
Yeah, but sometimes sometimes movies, that's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes things don't have to be 100% accurate. Sometimes you need to just shut your brain off and just watch people be cool.
No, for sure. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I could go 90 minutes of Richmond with a bow and arrow. But, I don't know. There was just maybe a little more fight back would have added to the tension. What I'm thinking. But still, I had fun with it, obviously. It was really fun to watch.
It did kind of make it made the Germans look weak.
Yeah.
And they definitely weren't weak.
No, not at all. But that's just a little nitpick. I don't really have anything else in the Met. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed this film. So if you don't have anything to add in the Met, we can head to the bad and just thrash Churchill for a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we'll hop over to the bad and Churchill. That's my
100%.
It's my only bad, but like you said, he didn't have a British accent. I thought this was one of the worst depictions of Churchill we've ever gotten.
Yeah, I don't think it even remotely looked like him.
Yeah.
And I'm a big, I've seen The Darkest Hour. I have the end scene that I think got Gary Oldman his Oscar for that movie. The last 3 minutes when he's in Parliament talking.
Yeah. I've
got that YouTube video saved in a little thing to watch for motivation.
Exactly.
I love that video.
Yeah.
He looks exactly like Churchill. Mm-hmm. I've got a cat named Winston.
There you go. So you
and even The Crown, there are a lot of depictions of Churchill, and I would say that one was not good at all. He wasn't even chubby enough. Not to put Churchill down because he was an amazing man, but he's not. He's a little more portly.
Exactly. When I was watching it, the entire movie they're saying the Prime Minister, and I didn't even put two and two together, and then at the end he came off his top hat, and I was like, that's Churchill?
Holy shit, that's Churchill.
And I was like...
The only thing they got right was the cigar.
Yeah.
And then the scene, there's one scene where he's drinking whiskey. That's true. But
so I'm sitting here and I'm like, this whole movie I went without knowing he was even Churchill because it didn't look like him, it didn't sound like him. And then when I realized it was, I was like, that's definitely...
he had the actor... tried. He tried.
Yeah.
He it didn't even sound like a British accent, to be honest. It was just an American, standard American accent. He tried to have Churchill's voice is comes from the back of the throat. He's got a very nasal cusps the words off. He tried to do that, and in some sentences I was like, okay, I can see where he's trying to he's trying to do, but from the very beginning, when they talked about Churchill's journals getting released in 2016, and then I heard his voice and saw him with the scar, I was like, they're not.
Yeah.
Are they trying to say that that's my boy Winston?
Yeah. Thankfully, his role wasn't enormous in the movie.
He only had a few.
He had a few scenes, probably 5-10 minute tops of screen time. So it didn't hurt it too bad for me. Most of the orders were coming through guys underneath him, so it kind of let him take the back seat to the orders and stuff. But yeah, that was definitely my one and only bad, but it wasn't. It was pretty rough. It was Churchill.
Yeah, I agree, and especially I think because it happened at the very beginning, that was the only negative thing that I could really think about. So I don't really. There wasn't really anything that I could think of other than that. It was just 5 cool dudes beating up a bunch of Nazis for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So what else can you ask for?
Yeah, so most of it falls in the good for sure. So we'll hop over to our final thoughts and ratings. And what do you want to leave off with this film, and what do you give it out of 10?
What's no masterpiece? I would say a 7.
7?
7. Enjoyable. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's no groundbreaking, it's not going to change my life.
Yeah.
I didn't leave the theater, shocked.
Yeah. I was in the same boat. It definitely was really fun. I'm going to land on a 7.5. I was really close to giving it an 8, but like you said, it's nothing to steer the wheel in a different direction. But it's a good enough time that I'll definitely revisit it. I'll even potentially go see it in theaters again.
Yeah, I'd see it in theaters again, or if it comes out, I guarantee it'll be on streaming at some point. Yeah. I'll watch it on streaming.
I'd add this to the Blu-ray collection or 4K collection for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, just a fun film. Guy Ritchie doing Guy Ritchie things and making a fun action war epic. And I need more Alan Ritchson with a bow and arrow.
Me too.
Yeah, that's all I can take away from it, right? that'll do it for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Drew, thank you for coming on.
Thanks, brother.
It's a pleasure having you. Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, check out some of these other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. Thank you all again for watching, and we will talk to you all soon. Peace.